2 non-consecutive terms. Donald Trump's getting that, and Grover Cleveland is the only other president to ever get that. Cleveland was a Democrat who served in the 1880s and 1890s. He had a mustache, unlike Donald Trump, and he's a guy who's looked up to by a lot of conservatives, and a lot of Democrats seem to be fairly fond of him, or at least not hate him like Andrew Johnson or Woodrow Wilson, who are both Democrats and considered virulent racists. So Cleveland, I don't really take any issue with him. And conservatives are not necessarily wrong to think, oh, it's cool, Trump's going to be like Grover Cleveland. But I think we should talk a little more about the broader context of the time period in which Grover Cleveland served and see if conservatives and Republicans really want Donald Trump to be the next Grover Cleveland. So let's talk about the Democratic Party, which Cleveland was a member of, and how it was doing at the time of Cleveland's presidency. So the Democratic brand was pretty strongly tarnished after Andrew Johnson's presidency. He left the office in 1869. He is considered usually in the bottom 3 U.S. presidents alongside James Buchanan and sometimes Donald Trump. Franklin Pierce also thrown in there at times. So yeah, he's this post-Civil War guy. Lincoln gets assassinated, and Johnson tarnishes the Democratic brand by going around acting arrogant, comparing himself to Jesus, whining about the radical Republicans, being racist, talking about how whites are better than blacks, all that rosy stuff from the 1860s. And it's not like the Republicans didn't have racist people then too. Both Democrats and Republicans had a fair amount of racism in their parties. So after Johnson leaves office, Ulysses S. Grant takes office. He serves 2 terms from 1869 to 1877. Rutherford B. Hayes takes office in 1877 to 1881. James Garfield, another Republican, gets elected in 1880. He's replaced by Chester Arthur after he's assassinated. Another Republican, his VP. And then finally, we get a Democrat, Cleveland, after the long haul of Republican presidents and the Democratic brand being tarnished. They're associated with the South and the losers of the Civil War, the Confederacy. But Cleveland comes in there and he's a pretty clean, honest guy. He did have a sex scandal, but that's besides the point. So he serves his first term. He loses to Benjamin Harrison, although he actually wins the popular vote, interestingly enough, when he loses to Harrison. Harrison is a little more of a protectionist Republican. It was under him that we had some developments in Hawaii. But yeah, other than that, he's not really a notable guy at all. Then Cleveland, again, gets another term. He wins in 1892, serves till 1897, and he's not very popular by the end of his second non-consecutive term. In fact, he didn't really help the Democratic Party all that much. As it turns out, William McKinley would get elected in 1896, and from 1897 until 1913, the Republicans would hold the presidency. So, to recap, the Democratic brand was tarnished leading up to Cleveland. Cleveland got his first term, lost, got a non-consecutive term, a second one, and then the Republicans went on to hold the presidency for 16 years in a row. Well, Donald Trump had 8 years of Obama before his first term, and before Obama, George W. Bush tarnished the Republican name. Then, of course, Trump had his Biden in the middle of his 2 terms, a Democrat, opposite political party. Biden is the Harrison to Trump's Cleveland, and then Trump gets his second term. So it's looking kind of similar to how the Democratic brand was tarnished prior to Cleveland, and then after Cleveland, things didn't really get better for the Democratic Party. So what's going to happen? Are we going to get 16 years of Democratic control after Trump? Will we have Democrats in office until 2045, Democratic presidents? I don't know, honestly. But it's just an interesting historical thing to point out how leading up to Trump, the Republicans were basically the clowns of America. George W. Bush ran their name into the ground. The Iraq War, the Afghanistan War, the torture, Guantanamo Bay, Hurricane Katrina, and of course, to top it all off, hurting everyone at home with the Great Recession, which obviously is not entirely his fault, but it happened under him, so people point the finger at him for it. So yeah, then Trump comes along and kind of rebrands them a little bit, sometimes for the better, sometimes for the worse. He gets a second term. but will he be able to bring the Republican Party back to a more sane time, a more sane version of itself? I don't know. I think we could see some Democratic win streaks after Trump. If you're watching this in the year 2050 and the Republicans have continued to win after Trump, you are free to leave in the comments, actually, no, dude, you're wrong. But I just thought I'd put this out there. So yeah, let me know what you think in the comments below. Just wanted to offer a historical perspective. I did take AP US History, so that means I'm a historian. Just joking. But yeah, let me know what you think. As always, please like, comment, subscribe. Thank you for watching, and I look forward to speaking to you in my next video.